What makes this even more glaring is that the report barely acknowledges the role of Black America and Black women, how they played inside the Democratic Party coalition. This video is not about telling Black America to emotionally run to one political party or another. Before some that watch this video say, are you telling us to be Republican? Absolutely not. You have to decide that about your interests, personal interests, but the greater picture. See, the real solution is political maturity. Black America must stop giving automatic loyalty to any political party without demanding measurable outcomes in return.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine.
Peace and blessings, everybody. This is Damon K. Jones here, and welcome to another edition of the Publisher's Desk, sponsored by Black Westchester Magazine, blackwestchester.com. Make sure you go to blackwestchester.com and download our e-paper. We are a real newspaper. So if you're in the Westchester, New York, Northern Bronx, Southern Connecticut area, you can go to the website and find the places where the actual paper is. But we thank everybody for the support. So you could go on the website and download the new e-paper, And we want to have a discussion tonight, brothers and sisters. We want to have a discussion. So the Democratic Party finally released its 2004 election autopsy. Now, the election autopsy is they examine the campaign for the presidential election of Kamala Harris. And they give a report of what were their findings, why the Democratic Party lost. The problem is, brothers and sisters, the report sounds just as disconnected as the campaign that lost the election. The report talks about inflation. It talks about Gaza. It talks about turnout problems. It talks about corporate influence and losing the working class voters. Now, some of those criticisms, brothers and sisters, are valid, but the report still refuses to confront the deeper cultural and political reality that millions of Americans were trying to say during the election. The report talks around the problem instead of directly addressing it for the Democratic leadership. The Democratic Party did not simply lose because of messaging mistakes. It lost because of millions of voters felt dismissed, ignored, talked down to, and morally shamed. The report admits that Democrats failed to connect with Black voters, Latino voters, young voters, and working class voters. It even admits that Harris' campaign prioritized suburban Republicans over motivating its own base. But what the report never honestly examines, brothers and sisters, is how the party's political culture alienated people who used to support them, especially Black men. For months, Black men were treated less like voters and more like political property. The message from the activists, celebrities, media personalities, party surrogates, and even the first Black president and his wife, who was the first Black first lady.
Part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. And I think anybody you are talking to in a barbershop, anybody you are talking to in your house, in your family, at church, who is coming with that kind of attitude, I think you have to ask them, well, how can that be? Because the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time. They've been raising us and working and having our backs. And when we get in trouble, and the system's not working for us, They're the ones who were out there marching and protesting. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down. That's not acceptable. This shouldn't even be a question.
If you question Kamala Harris, you must be sexist, misogynistic, uninformed, or you're helping Trump. See, that was not persuasion. That was political guilt tripping. See, instead of asking black men what they were struggling with economically, socially, spiritually, and culturally, the conversation became out of obedience and loyalty. Many black men felt like the party only speaks to them during election season. Then they lecture them the moment they raise concerns. The report talks about turnout decline, but it never fully addresses the economical and cultural disconnect that caused it. What makes this even more glaring is that the report barely acknowledges the role of Black America and Black women, how they played inside the Democratic Party coalition. Black voters, especially Black women, are the Democratic Party's most loyal voting bloc. Election after election, Black women vote overwhelmingly Democrat at rates higher than any demographic in America. Yet, the report barely wrestles whether the party has taken the loyalty for granted. See, brothers and sisters, that omission from the report matters. Because if Black America is truly the backbone of the Democratic Party, then why does the relationship increasingly feel transactional? Why does the party only seem to speak directly to Black communities during the election season? Why are Black voters discussed mostly as turnout numbers instead of long-term political partners with specific economic and social interests? The report talks about abandoning the base, but it never fully confronts the reality that many Black voters increasingly feel politically managed instead of politically respected. See, the same problem existed with the working class voters across the country. Democrats spent years branding millions of Americans as racist, ignorant, privileged, or dangerous simply because they disagreed politically. Then during the election, they suddenly wanted those same voters to join the coalition. Politics does not work like that, brothers and sisters. You cannot spend years demonizing voters and then act shocked when they stop listening. The report also avoids one of the biggest cultural issues of the election, the transgender debate. Democrats and media elites still do not understand how much damage this issue caused them politically. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, brothers and sisters. Most Americans are not hateful towards transgender people, and neither is Black Americans. But many parents were uncomfortable with the biological males competing with girls in sports, entering girls' bathrooms, or schools publishing gender ideology without the parents' involvement. Instead of acknowledging those concerns respectfully, too many Democrats responded calling people bigots, homophobic, before even asking questions. See, that pushed moderate voters away. It pushed a lot of Black people away. See, the party also underestimated how much Americans and Black America valued family, faith, stability, and traditional social structure. Democrats leaned heavy into identity politics, celebrity culture. How can anybody forget Meg Thee Stallion twerking on stage at a presidential rally. That's insane. That's not who we are. And then the narrative of the strong, independent branding, while many voters were worried about broken homes, rising costs, unsafe neighborhoods, loneliness, and cultural confusion. See, that disconnect especially hurt Democrats, especially with the white women, married white voters, church-going white voters, and families, and even in Black America, married voters, Black church-going voters, culturally moderate Black Americans who still value faith, marriage, children, and family structure. The Democratic Party was trying to market empowerment, women empowerment, while many voters was looking for stability. And let me tell you, I said this on a radio show right after the election. White women, they don't want to be boss chicks. See, the boss chick narrative, the independent Black woman narrative, didn't run across well with white women because white women don't want to be boss chicks. They want to be wives. They want a husband that's strong. They want their children to have jobs. They want their son not to be living in the basement with a master's degree. They want him out of the house and being the head of his house with a wife and a family. So they rejected that narrative, just like many Black Americans that value the same thing. But you had women like Joy Reid and all these other foolish Black commentators not understanding that.
But in the end, you know, if they didn't make their numbers and essentially exceed the numbers that Joe Biden had in the suburbs, and I think we have to be blunt about why. Black voters came through for Kamala Harris. White women voters did not. That is what it appears happened in that state, is that if you can't flip enough white women, and we've talked about this on this set numerous times. But
see, people don't vote with their wallets. They vote with their values. And it's crazy to think that Black people don't have those values. Family values, economic values, community stability values, public safety values. It's like the Democrats threw that all away. See, and this is why the report is incomplete. It reads like a party trying to diagnose economic systems, refuses to confront the cultural and ideological disconnect that voters were reacting to. But it still struggles to understand why those voters emotionally disconnected from the party in the first place. Now listen up, Black America. One of the biggest takeaways from this report is not just what's inside of it, but what is missing from it. This report is written proof on how disconnected the Democratic Party has become from the people it depends on the most, Black America, and especially Black women, because they are the party's most loyal voting bloc. And I hope sooner or later my sisters will wake up. See, there is almost no serious discussion about Black interests in this report, Black economic priorities in this report, Black family stability in this report, Black homeownership, Black educational decline, Black business development, or the growing frustration that many Black Americans feel toward a political relationship that is increasingly feeling transactional. Instead, Black voters are mostly discussed as turnout numbers. Think. That says a lot about the party that we give 90% of our vote to. See, if Black America is truly the backbone of the Democratic Party, why does this report, brothers and sisters, spend more time discussing suburban Republicans than the concerns of the very people who keep the Democrats politically alive? That disconnect is exactly why many voters feel unheard. heard. Now, the report admits that Democrats lost millions of voters, failed to connect culturally, and failed to inspire people emotionally. But even in self-reflection, the party still struggles to fully confront how many Black Americans feel politically taken for granted. Many Black voters no longer simply want symbolic representation, right? Having a Black elected official that do nothing, Black faces in places that do nothing for us. God is exposing the truth. Not all skin folk is our kinfolk. And celebrity endorsements is not convincing us. Having ignorant comedians and entertainers talking politics is not convincing us. The fear-based voting campaigns is not working on Black America no more. Black America wants results. We're tired of our communities looking the way they do. Black America wants respect. They want policies that will actually improve Black neighborhoods, schools, safety, economic opportunities, and Black America's quality of life. See, and when we raise those concerns, too often we're shamed, dismissed, accused of betrayal, and even called anti-Black. Brothers and sisters, they know nothing about coalition building when it comes to Black people. They take us for granted. They feel that they are politically entitled to the Black vote. See, brothers and sisters, this report was supposed to explain why the Democratic Party lost support. Instead, in many ways, it exposed the same mindset that caused the disconnect in the first place. Not because every criticism in this report was wrong, but because even now, the party still seems more comfortable managing Black voters than honestly listening to them. See, brothers and sisters, until the Democrats stop treating disagreement as hatred and responding with shaming and calling Black people MAGA, or stop assuming automatic loyalty from Black voters, and stop talking down to Black voters, and stop dismissing concerns about culture, family, faith, common sense, they will continue to lose people they once thought they owned politically. Democratic Party is not the Black Party. The Democratic Party don't own Black people. We have to make that clear in 2026. The report was supposed to be autopsy. Instead, it became another example why the very disconnect that caused the political death in the first place. Let me say this before we end this conversation, brothers and sisters. This video is not about telling Black America to emotionally run to one political party or another. Before some that watch this video say, are you telling us to be Republican? Absolutely not. You have to decide that about your interests, personal interests. But the greater picture is that we keep making that mistake. See, the real solution is political maturity. Black America must stop giving automatic loyalty to any political party without demanding measurable outcomes in return. Black America must become issue-based voters instead of emotionally attached voters. See, now you say, Brother Damon, what does that mean? It means that we must, before we give our vote, whether as a group or just your individual vote, you got to ask every politician, what are you going to do about Black homeownership? What are you going to do about the educational system? What are you going to do about crime and violence in our youth in our community? What are you going to do about economic development? What are you going to do about protecting Black political interest loyalty? See, and if your politician cannot answer those questions with real policy and real results, then your vote shouldn't be automatic. As an individual and as a collective, our vote should not be automatic. And second, as I said in a video earlier, we have to be involved more in local politics. You allow them to put you in the Trump atmosphere where everything is about Trump. But your local politics is your school board, district leaders, city council, county legislators, mayors, judges, district attorneys. These are all the things that local politics control. And in many cases, Trump ain't got nothing to do with none of that shit. Excuse my French, I'm sorry. Nothing to do with Trump. While your kids can't read and your kids are being bullied at school, they ain't got nothing to do with Trump, huh? While you got high crime and violence, they ain't got nothing to do with Trump. While you can't afford a home in your community, they ain't got nothing to do with Trump. While they not building homes for you to own, only building low income, so middle black Americans can't afford the low income housing, and there's no housing at their price range. They ain't got nothing to do with Trump. Huh? The services in your community, they ain't got nothing to do with Trump. Your high ass property taxes, they ain't got nothing to do with Trump. Just recently, let me tell you how crazy these politicians are. Just recently, there was a dispute between a union in New York State and Governor Kathy Hochul. And she had the mitigated gall, brothers and sisters, to blame Trump.
Islanders deserve a break, as do all the residents who commute on our lines from Queens and elsewhere. They face tariff prices, price hikes on everything from food to school supplies, and skyrocketing gas prices after Trump's war in Iran. I will not let this dispute lead to higher prices and less money in the pockets of our residents. So we're looking at ways to defray the costs caused by this strike, costs that fly in the face of affordability.
Trump had nothing to do with the union negotiations with the state. See, that's what they think of you. They think you're that stupid, that she could literally say that. See, many black communities suffer today because we allow those who claim that represent us, brothers and sisters, to only show up on election day. I'm going to say that again because I don't think y'all understand what I'm saying. Black communities suffer today because we allow black politicians, white politicians, mostly Democrats, to only show up on election day. And third, brothers and sisters, we gotta rebuild independent black institutions. We gotta really have more discussions on more businesses and more discussions on sending our children to trade schools, more discussions on buying land, independent media, financial literacy, economic cooperation among black people. Everybody else do it. Everybody else do it, but black people. And then we listen to these influencers and these foolish influencers and entertainers, and they tell you, don't support a black business just because it's black. Go over there and tell, and I said it in the other one, go over there and tell the Jews that. You would never tell a right-minded thinking Jewish person that. You will never tell a right-minded thinking Asian person that. You will never tell a right-minded thinking East Indian person that. Why is it so common to tell black people that? The basis is this, brothers and sisters. Political power without economic power is only temporary. And finally, black America must stop confusing symbolism with success. Representation matters, but representation without results is just performance. These Negroes is performing for you. The Congressional Black Caucus is performing for you. That's why the only thing they could come up with from the Supreme Court ruling is telling black children to boycott and give up their scholarships to black schools in the South. That's because they don't have any substance. NAACP, Urban League, they have no substance. See, at some point, black America must demand outcomes over slogans, strategy over emotions, and accountability over just blind loyalty. Because politics is not church. Politicians are not our saviors, brothers and sisters. They're not our saviors. They're far from our saviors. But even in scripture, it tells us what to do when Pharaoh has let us go. We got to say, thus say the Lord. We got to believe in the I am. We got to represent the I am and be independent and have an agenda And don't be scared. If you believe in the I am, you ain't gonna be scared to say, I'm not voting for that. We do not support that. We support this, this, and this. And if you don't support it, then you can't have our vote. See, consistency matters, brothers and sisters. Respect matters. And Black America must begin negotiating politically the same way every other serious political group in America negotiates for its own interests. And if you have a comment, please leave the comments. I try to answer all comments. I try to respond, give you a like, give you a heart, let you know I'm paying attention to what you're saying. And please share if you think someone else needs to hear this story. Please follow. 90% of people that watch my videos, they don't subscribe, they don't follow the page. Please follow the page. Black Westchester Magazine. And Damon K. Jones on YouTube. Please go to blackwestchester.com. Check us out. We are a real newspaper, brothers and sisters. We're just not doing this to be a blogger or be on the internet. This is a newspaper that's been around almost 15 years. And we give it the news with the Black point of view. We are unbought and unbossed. And as always, I thank you. Stay safe, stay blessed, and stay Blacktastic. Peace out.
Black America, political loyalty without results is not power. Sign up and get your free ebook by Damon K. Jones. A seat at the table is not power. Building the table is. This book exposes how political dependence weakened our communities and lays out a blueprint for Black economic, political, and institutional sovereignty. If you're ready to move from symbolism to ownership, this is for you. Download it free today. Follow Damon K. Jones on YouTube and stay connected to empowering conversations that challenge the mind, strengthen the spirit, and uplift the community. Subscribe to Black Westchester YouTube and at Damon Jones on YouTube for powerful content on life, culture, community, faith, politics, health, and truth that makes you think for yourself. If you're serious about political clarity and independent thinking, this is for you. The Political Thought Bundle includes 3 full books, all personally singling. Democrats and Republicans, the Ultimate Gangbangers, breaks down how the two-party system operates like a legalized street war for power. Emotional Politics, Logical Failure exposes how emotion has replaced strategy in Black political engagement. Tolerance is for Coward lays out a blueprint for extended policing and community-led public safety rooted in outcomes rather than slogans. 3 signed books. One bundle, $60. That's a $75 value, and you're getting signed copies included. This isn't left versus right. It's results versus rhetoric. Go to twosteppublishing.com and secure your signed Political Thought Bundle today. It's going to be Blacktastic. For more than a century, Black America built its own economy under segregation, under discrimination, and under conditions most people today cannot imagine. We built businesses. We built banks. We bought land and property. In the Forgotten Blueprint, Damon K. Jones reveals how Black communities created thriving economic systems from 1800 to 1965 and why that blueprint still matters today. This book challenges the idea that our future depends on politics alone and shows how ownership, family, and enterprise once powered Black prosperity. The blueprint is not lost. We just stopped using it. The Forgotten Blueprint, how Black America built its own economy from 1800 to 1965. On sale now at Two Step Publishing and Amazon. Black Westchester Magazine has been giving our community a voice, reporting the stories others ignore, holding power accountable, and making sure the truth about our communities is told by us. But independent Black media only survives when the community supports it. If you believe in real journalism, community accountability, and keeping Black voices strong in local news, we need your help. Your donation helps us continue covering the stories that matter: politics, education, justice, and economic empowerment right here in Westchester. Support Black media, support Black truth, support Black Westchester Magazine. Donate today and help keep Black media alive. Because Black-owned independent media is Blacktastic. Black Westchester Magazine presents People Before Politics, the Sunday Rundown, every Sunday at 6 p.m. on YouTube. Join Damon K. Jones, AJ Woodson, and Larnez Kinsey as they break down the biggest stories in politics, culture, and community from a Black point of view. No spin, no party loyalty, just logic, accountability, and outcomes. If it impacts Black America, we're talking about it. Tap in, subscribe, set your reminder. This Sunday at 6 p.m. is going to be Blacktastic.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine, where life, culture, community, and faith meet truth, power, and purpose.